Test one. Is Mark Gillarducci here? He's going to be number one? Or first or last? Just tell me that.
He can't be last. So do you want him up here or after Anthony? You want to do the stage setting first? Or just go up here? Go straight up here?
Well, or after the highway patrol, and then it would lead into all the utilities.
I like that.
So is that where you want me to put him?
I like that.
Okay.
But we have some stage setting, and then we'll go to him.
So he'll be right after Steve Larson, California Highway Patrol.
Right. Let me get him over there.
Here, you want one?
After
Just to...
Steve Larson. And then you're prepped on.
Community meeting, place and time to be announced. Okay, got it. Okay, we're going to get started here, you guys. Everybody's ready here? Okay. I'm just going to go down our list of speakers and give you spellings to all of our speakers. Can we hear? Is that the echo in here is pretty bad, I know. But, okay, I'm going to just start out. My name's Dave Zanaboni. I'm the Public Information Officer for Santa Barbara County Fire Department, and that's Zaniboni. Our first speaker is going to be Chip Hickman, Fire Chief for the Montecito Fire Protection District. That's Hickman. Then we'll have Anthony Stornetta, Stornetta, Battalion Chief for Santa Barbara County Fire Department. Followed by Sheriff Bill Brown, Santa Barbara County. Then it'll be Steve Larson, Lieutenant for the California Highway Patrol. That's Larson. Followed by Mark Gillarducci. He's the Director of the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services. And then we'll go into Tim Gubbins, that's Gubbins. He's the District 5 Director for Caltrans. Followed by Tom Fayram, Fayram, Deputy Director for Santa Barbara County Public Works Department. Rudy Gonzalez, Gonzales, from Southern California Edison. Then Maria Ventura, Southern California Gas Company. Nick Turner, General Manager for Montecito Water District. Diane Gabriel, that's Gabriel, District Manager for the Montecito Sanitary District. Suzanne Grimesey, Grimmesey. She's the Public Information Officer for Santa Barbara County Department of Behavioral Wellness. And that's it. We also have a ASL interpreter that I'd like to introduce, Robin Babb, BABB. She'll be up here in a moment. So silence phones, please. Hold all questions till the end. We'll be able to answer as many as we can, as fast as we can get through this. Thanks. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'd just like to take a quick moment to acknowledge the presence of California Senator Hannah Beth Jackson, who is here joining us today, also Assembly Member Monique Limon, and 2nd District Supervisor Janet Wolf. Thank you for being here and supporting this. My name is Dave Zanaboni, Public Information Officer for Santa Barbara County Fire Department. And like I said, thank you for joining us this afternoon. This time I'd like to introduce Chip Hickman. He's the Fire Chief for the Montecito Fire District.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I would like, first off, to express my sincere condolences to those of you who lost loved ones. I would like to express my sympathy for those of you who suffered damage or lost your home. I too lost property recently in the Thomas Fire. I experienced long periods of evacuation of my family and inconvenience. I understand the frustrations you're going through. This incident, the Thomas Fire, has turned our lives upside down. Although we have moved from rescue phase to recovery phase, we are continuing to search for the 3 remaining people that are missing. And we will continue to do so. Recovery from this incident is going to take time, and it's going to take a significant amount of time. The process to rebuild our community is a marathon, not a sprint. Our number one priority is to get you back in your home. And we are working diligently to make that happen. We have tremendous support from FEMA, state OES system, Santa Barbara County, and your local agencies. We will rebuild our community, and we will rebuild it better than it was before. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Anthony Stornetta, Battalion Chief, Santa Barbara County Fire Department, operations for this incident.
Good afternoon. Anthony Stornetta, operations. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a situational update, what's happening out there. Currently, we still have just under 900 personnel assigned to this incident. Number one priority is finding the 3 missing. We're going through sections we've already searched. We're searching deeper. We're searching wider. We're being very extensive with that. That's the main focus of all the fire resources and also the search team from the Sheriff's Department. That is our number one priority. We want to find them. There's a lot of work out there. If you guys have seen in the video or pictures, there's a lot of debris. It's meticulous. There's a lot of stuff that can still collapse, so it's taken some time. There's a lot of work. We're working through that. Also, the resources are working to help open the roads, working with flood control, Public Works, Caltrans, trying to get those roads open so that when the residents do come in, they can gain access. We're opening driveways, everything else. We're also trying to mitigate as many hazards as possible, working with the gas company and also utility companies. Other than that, we're trying to make sure when they get in there and we repopulate, which is our second priority, getting people back to a somewhat type of normalcy, that we get people in there and they're safe to be in there. We're also watching the weather. We're watching those future storms. We're developing strategic plans right now. We have a whole section that's just focused on that. We're developing those plans, and we're working to guide our resources through that. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the local resources that have been committed to this incident since the very beginning. They haven't left. They've stayed focused, and they've stayed engaged. All the op area fire departments and also the police and law enforcement, we've all worked together with a great partnership, collaboration, and we've done this planning in the past. We're just putting it all to use now. Lastly, the state agencies, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3, they came, they stood right behind us from the very beginning. We very much appreciate that, and thank you, Chief C, for that. On the other side is also OES, who's also come down and assisted us in partnering as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to introduce Bill Brown, Sheriff, Santa Barbara County.
Thank you, and thank you for being here today. Let me begin by providing you with an update on that most important mission that has already been mentioned, which is finding the 3 Montecito residents who are still missing. They are 2-year-old Lydia Sutetepa, 17-year-old John Jack Canton, and 28-year-old Fabiola Benitez Calderon. We know every day that goes by without closure means more suffering and anguish for their families who have lost so much. All 3 of the missing persons lived in the Olive Mill and Hot Springs corridor, which was the last place that they were known to be alive. Search and recovery crews have been especially focused on looking in this general area and are searching areas of the highest probability where the victims could be located. They are checking spots within those areas that have been inaccessible up until this point, as well as rechecking areas that have been previously searched, in some cases 4 to 5 times previously. Human remains detector dogs from various search agencies are being utilized on a rotational basis during this search. Our Sheriff's Search and Rescue team here in Santa Barbara alone has 4 dogs especially trained for this process. These dogs and their handlers have been working resolutely from sunup to sundown every day to try to find these missing persons. We've had many occasions where both handlers and dogs have been getting stuck in the mud and debris while they were searching. Tomorrow, 8 state-approved human remains detector dogs and their handlers from the California Rescue Dog Association and another 8 from the California Specialized Search Team Association, a total of 16 additional dog teams, will join in the search. We're grateful to the Office of Emergency Services for coordinating these canine teams, and we will be doing everything we can over this weekend to find these victims. And I just want you to know that the spirit of these teams is incredible. None of them want to rest. None of them want to take a break. They are all 100% committed and focused on finding those victims. This is hard work, and we've had many firefighters from our own county and from across the state and search and rescue team members out there assisting us in this endeavor. In our case here in Santa Barbara County, our search and rescue team members are all volunteers. They're not compensated whatsoever. Most of them have jobs and families, but they have been working here continuously since before this incident actually struck. I want to focus now on the question of getting people back into their homes. We have so many people who are displaced and so many people who want to know, when can we expect to get back into Montecito? And I can tell you that we are waiting now for a variety of different factors, particularly for access, specifically including the opening of the 101 freeway and the shutting down of the use of Coast Village Road and Jameson Lane as thoroughfares for the many trucks that are hauling debris out of the stricken area. Once that is accomplished and once basic utilities have been repaired and restored to the area, we will be beginning the repopulation process. And we've had some very, very good news in terms of that progress as far as the utilities go. And you will hear some more detail of that later, but suffice it to say that the optimism in the EOC has been strong in terms of getting those utilities restored in a relatively quick fashion. We can't put people back into that area until the search operation is finished, until the road closures are reduced down to specific certain areas. We've had some problems with bridges that you'll hear about a little later. Despite these challenges and problems in getting utilities up and running and getting the roads passable and ready for repopulation, there's hurdles in the way, but great progress is being made. And we ask for your continued patience and understanding as we continue in this process. And please know that we are meeting throughout the day, every day, to evaluate the current conditions and to determine how best to begin this repopulation process in this stricken area. And we have plans that are ready to go, and we'll begin those plans as soon as possible. I've mentioned before that the repopulation effort is likely to be incremental, and we want to begin that process with our business community, particularly in the heart of Montecito. I've been saying that the San Isidro Road area is the spine of Montecito, and the village is its heart. And we want to get that village up and running again as soon as possible. To that end, we are working with the merchants, and we will be bringing them in over the next several days to assess the damage to their properties, to see what they need to do to restock and to re-engage and get open so that we can have a center within Montecito that citizens can utilize for some basic provisions, restaurants, and things of that nature, and other conveniences. I also want to mention again about escorts. We have sheriff's deputies who have been providing escorts to people who absolutely need to get back into their homes for emergency or extenuating circumstances. We ask that you only make that request if it is absolutely necessary. We want to use our limited resources wisely, but you can call our call center and you can make a request, and we will do what we can to try to accommodate that with you. We also want to remind everyone who's been evacuated that we have a very heavy law enforcement presence with sheriff's deputies and highway patrol and our mutual aid law enforcement partners from throughout Southern California and our adjacent counties who are out there protecting that community. I just want to close by saying that we know that this has been a very trying, sad, and unsettling time for our community, and that it continues to be. But I just want to say that we will get through this together. You've got an incredible team of people from all different disciplines who've come together and are working very diligently in a variety of different ways to bring a sense of normalcy back to Montecito and the southern part of Santa Barbara County. And to the citizens of Santa Barbara County, the people who live here, our residents, I just want to say thank you for your patience, for your cooperation, for your understanding, and for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to introduce Steve Larson, Lieutenant with California Highway Patrol.
Thank you, Captain. I'm taking the place of Captain Cindy Ponce today. She's been working for over 2 weeks, and the chief said today's a day off, so I'm standing in for her. So hopefully she's getting some rest today, but she'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be right back at it. Now back to business. The US 101 is closed, northbound to 150, and it's also closed southbound at Milpas. So please, as your folks are coming through, we will be asking for credentials, for IDs and so forth to let those people through. We are currently manning 28 traffic control points within the Montecito area. And again, we'll be asking for identification. We'll be asking for IDs. If you need to get in there and do some work, we'll let you in. But we're trying to keep folks that are just looking to see the damage and so forth out of that area. So again, we're going to be checking for IDs and the reason why that you're asking for entry. We are also providing escorts for critical employees. That includes health and safety, our VIPs from the EOC and from FEMA, along with the utility workers to get those people in and out. We've been working with Cottage Hospital to make sure that the nurses and the doctors and so forth get in to where they need to be. The one thing that the captain wanted me to talk about is using the 166, to not use the 166. Make sure that you put the word out to all the folks out there that the 4146, which is out of Paso Robles, is a better route to get to and from. I know folks are using the 126. I know they're using other ways, other routes, but the 4146 is a better route than the 166. So please get the word out on that. The one thing that I really want to express is that there's a lot of folks that think that Google, Wazer, TomTom, or any other platforms is a way to get in and around the Santa Barbara area. That is not true. Please don't use those platforms to use to get around the Montecito area. They don't have all the road closures. They don't know all the bridges that are closed and what have you. So please make sure that you reach out to the Caltrans website to get the newest and updated information and correct information. A lot of my folks have been out there contacting or been contacted by folks saying, well, hey, my GPS says I can go through. No, please. That's one thing that I need to get out today is that information. So please make sure that you use the valid information to get around. Caltrans is making steady progress on the 101, and they're working 24/7, as we are. I'm currently working from 6 at night till 6 in the morning, so we have all hands on deck. We're doing the best we can, so hopefully US 101 will be open shortly. I want to thank the Santa Barbara area. I tell you what, the professionalism and dedication of the area has been outstanding. I want to thank our Coastal Division office giving us assistance in all the areas that are coming from all over Coastal Division, from Santa Cruz down to Ventura and in between. I want to thank them. I want to thank our law enforcement partners for all their assistance in helping us complete our mission. And I also want to thank you to our first responders and fire department. Thank you very much. And this includes not only the uniform, but the non-uniform folks, our janitors, our auto techs. They're keeping our vehicles running so we can do our mission. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The community has given us a pouring of support. We've been getting care packages at the office. People are coming up to us and thanking us for what we've been doing. I just want to say thank you, community, for everything that you've done. And we're trying our best. And I just want to wrap up today. Our thoughts and prayers go to those who lost family members and their homes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant Larson. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mark Ghilarducci. He's the Director of the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services.
Thanks, Captain. Good afternoon. First, let me express, again, our sincere condolences and thoughts to the Santa Barbara community and for all those who have suffered loss in this tragic event. You know, since October the 8th, this state has seen unprecedented disaster impacts, resulting in over 11,000 structures destroyed and unfortunately claiming more than 65 lives. OES has been involved, myself, involved with all those events throughout California. We have a massive catastrophic disaster response going up and down the state from San Diego to Mendocino County. But I have to tell you, this incident is one of the most complicated, most challenging incidents that I've witnessed. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've been all over the country, actually all over the world, seen a lot of disasters. This is a very complicated disaster. As such, there is no linear pathway to being able to simply fix it. This will take really the whole of community to be able to address the challenges that are faced by all the folks that are standing behind me. It is a government, non-governmental, and individual citizen effort to come together to be able to respond and recover from this event. You heard the chief say earlier that we are still focusing on search and rescue operations. Those will continue, but we are also transitioning into this recovery operation with the objective of rapidly getting the community cleaned and back up so that the rebuilding process and the recovery process can begin. This is very important. And so there are priorities being set that will make sure that the overall operation of all the agencies that are standing behind me are working collectively with you in the community to ensure that the community gets rapidly cleaned and we begin that recovery process. It's not going to be an easy task. This is a complicated event. We also have potential for additional weather coming in, and so we have to constantly be considering what are additional impacts that may be happening, and we need to plan for those, and we need to prepare. That means we collectively need to prepare. So it's important to listen to warnings and alerts that may be coming out as new weather systems come in. And as the sheriff said, while they're trying their best to try to open up areas, it will be a little bit to be able to get those areas safe enough to have that happen. There's going to be some tough days. There's going to be some long days. We are making sure that all the resources that the county needs are available. This is not just the county effort, the state of California, the great agencies that have been speaking so far, the Highway Patrol, Caltrans, CAL FIRE, OES, and then our partners at FEMA. FEMA is here with us and will ensure that between the state and the federal agencies, we are supporting Santa Barbara County and all of you to ensure that we maximize all of the different efforts that are required on the recovery process. So together, we're going to keep working through this and understand that over the next several weeks, we will be working in the community, and you're going to see different kinds of operations going on to ensure that we can rapidly get that recovery process going. And we're going to be working with the county to ensure that that's communicated effectively with all of you as often as possible. Let me close in saying that it's important that if you've suffered a loss, that you register with FEMA for seeing if you're eligible for disaster assistance. Even if you think you're not, it's important to register with FEMA and let FEMA make a determination as to whether or not you're eligible. That's very important. I want to thank all of the mutual aid assets, the great partners that we've worked with. We know that, as the chief said, it is a marathon, not a sprint, and we'll continue to be with you today and in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to introduce Tim Gubens, a District 5 Director for Caltrans.
Thank you. I wanted to start by thanking all of the various federal, state, local agencies that have been working together. The partnership that we've seen in having this joint effort of cleaning up as much as we can, as quickly as we can, restoring the infrastructure to the community has been just amazing. Caltrans, as we've said before, has literally hundreds of our crews and contractor crews out there cleaning the roadways. Our first emphasis has been on 101, and Caltrans has made tremendous progress in clearing US 101 through Montecito over this last week. As of right now, almost all of the mud has been cleared away from the roadway, and we are doing critical work of clearing the drainage systems, and that work continues. In addition to the drainage systems, we are working on guardrail and barriers we're repairing some of the signs and getting the final cleaning and sweeping of the highway, as long as stabilizing the embankments to make sure that they stay off the road as well as we can. We are continuing work in 12-hour shifts. We're working 24/7. We will continue that until the roadways open. We expect that to be happening in the next few days. We're very excited about the progress we've made. We'll make announcements as we know more. The next 12 to 24 hours should tell us a lot more on some of those efforts that aren't quite as visible, that are under the roadway, clogging the drainage systems and things like that. And so I urge you to pay attention to that. We'll be issuing press release as we get closer and know more, and we'll be using social media to get up-to-the-date information out just as soon as we have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. I'd like to introduce Tom Fayrum, Deputy Director, Santa Barbara County Public Works Department.
Good afternoon. I wanted to just provide you a brief update of the activities of the Public Works Department. First, as you saw, General Semonite from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers visited Santa Barbara County yesterday and actually went out to the work site at the debris basins. We were so thankful for him showing his support and the support of the Corps of Engineers. Their work continues and continues with great progress. Each day we see more and more work with hundreds of truck trips every day, and they work 24/7. Our initial channel clearing work has also been completed, and now we're going back a second time and picking up additional material as we continue to remove more material from the area. I would also mention the cooperation, our crews working with Caltrans. A creek doesn't work if the bridge doesn't work, or a county road, or whatever. All these crews are working together very well, assisting each other to make the overall system work. And we will work through the weekend as well to continue our mission. And we will also be looking for the weather that was mentioned earlier and ensure that our systems are in place and ready to take the weather that might come. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. I'd like to introduce Rudy Gonzalez with Southern California Edison.
Good afternoon. I'd just like to start out thanking the various agencies that have cooperated with us and allowed us to make significant progress in our restoration efforts in the Montecito community. As of this afternoon, we have approximately 1,100 Edison customers in the Montecito area that remain without power. As conditions permit, Edison will continue to work around the clock to restore power to affected customers in the community. For those areas where access to SE crews has already been granted, Edison expects to have service restored to houses not significantly damaged or destroyed no later than January 31st. Restoration may be delayed due to new storms in the area, ongoing recovery operations, and unknown damage to facilities yet to be inspected. And our staff are present at the local assistance center to address questions that the community may have. They'll be there for the duration of the center. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. I'd like to introduce Maria Ventura from Southern California Gas Company.
Good afternoon. Again, my name is Maria Ventura. I'm a Public Affairs Manager with SoCal Gas. On behalf of SoCal Gas employees, many who live and work here in Santa Barbara County, I'd like to convey our deepest sympathies to the residents of Montecito area impacted by the natural disaster. SoCal Gas is committed to the recovery process and will do our part. For the past 11 days, SoCal Gas has worked alongside our brave first responders to assess our natural gas system, conduct repairs, and to restore natural gas service when it is safe to do so. Today, we have made good progress restoring natural gas service on the east and west side of the debris flow. Approximately 1,000 homes and businesses have had their natural gas service restored to our system. Today and this weekend, SoCal Gas crews are restoring service to home and businesses in area north of Coast Village Road, south of Camino Viejo, east of Augusta Lane, and west of Olive Mill. We began restoring service to several shops in the Central Business District along Coast Village Road at 3 p.m. and will continue until 6 p.m. today. We will resume this work tomorrow from Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But we know there's a lot more work to do, and many of you are interested in knowing when your natural gas service will be restored. To that end, SoCalGas has launched a website dedicated to the incident at socalgas.com/Montecito. This site provides timely updates and includes a map with areas that have had the natural gas service restored and when, most importantly, will be in your community. To assist us with providing you the most updated information, we ask that you log into socalgas.com, into My Accounts, and provide us with your most current phone number, email, so that we may provide you texts and emails when we will be in your neighborhood restoring natural gas service. SoCalGas also would like to announce our temporary bill policy for those residents who have moved away from their home due to the incident. We will not be billing them during that natural gas service interruption. And for those residents whose homes have been deemed uninhabitable, we will forgive their bills. If you have more questions about this new temporary billing policy, please call us at our SoCalGas call center at 1-800-427-2200. And a few more hints and tips to help you along the restoration process. And I want to reiterate, this one is the most important. Residents and businesses, please remain home. Once areas are lifted and we are able to restore natural gas service, you must be home in order for our techs to access your property, restore natural gas service, and conduct an in-home inspection. Again, it's very important that residents are home to do so. We also do not recommend somebody turn on their natural gas service. Please allow us to conduct that service for you. Lastly, I wanted to offer other resources where you may find more information. Again, our call center number. And also, we have local representatives at the local assistance center that could answer your questions. SoCalGas is eager to support this community and our customers during this recovery process. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I'd like to introduce Nick Turner. He's the General Manager for the Montecito Water District.
Good afternoon. Nick Turner, General Manager, Montecito Water District. Repairs to our water system continue ahead of schedule. The district completed repairs to its Highline transmission main. The transmission main was compromised in 7 locations, all at creek crossings. A mixture of temporary and permanent repairs were completed yesterday, January 19th, only 9 days following the incident. With the completion of these repairs, the district is now moving water from the South Coast conduit to its storage reservoirs located along the High Line. The district is already working with consultants, Cal OES, and FEMA on the process of implementing permanent repairs at 4 of these locations. Repairs to our dedicated 18-inch pipeline that delivers water from Jameson Lake to the district was compromised in 2 locations, each measuring 60 to 120 feet in length. The contractor began to make the repairs on January 17th. Repairs are expected to be completed on Monday, January 22nd. Once work is complete, lake deliveries will resume. The distribution pipelines were compromised in 13 locations. Nearly all of these locations are on bridge crossings at creeks. These pipe ranges from 6 to 12 inches in diameter and span 20 to 50 feet in length. 5 of the 13 repairs have been completed. The remaining repairs are projected to be completed on or before January 21st. 19 fire hydrants were sheared off during the mud flows. These damaged fire hydrants have been located, turned off to stop the flow of water, and have either been repaired or replaced. There are isolated areas of the district's distribution system that have yet to be fully assessed for damage due to limited access. There are also other areas where work remains prohibited due to the ongoing search and recovery effort. As more areas become accessible, it is likely that, given the amount of destruction in these areas, additional damages will be identified. So the current impacts to our customers. The availability of water varies depending on the location within the district. In general, properties located below East Valley Road or Highway 192 have had water at their tap since the incident. As repairs to the system are being made, water is becoming available to customers located above Highway 192. The boil water notice issued on January 9th remains in effect for district customers. A partial cancellation of the boil water notice has been issued for the following areas: Summerland and the Upper Toro Canyon region. A description of these regions can be found on the district's website. Also, an interactive zone boundary map is available on the district's website at www.montecitowater.com and also on the County of Santa Barbara's website at www.countyofsb.org. And we will be updating this continuously to depict any changes in status. 3 accessible emergency potable water distribution sites continue to be in operation from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. These locations are as follows: the Summerland Post Office, located at 2245 Lily Avenue, the Montecito Fire Station Number 2, located at Cold Springs and Sycamore Canyon Road, and the southwest corner of East Valley Road and San Ysidro Road in the Upper Village. Emergency water distribution will continue at these locations until further notice, and any changes will be indicated on the district's website. So what's to expect in the coming days? Water may be available at all taps as soon as Monday, January 22nd. Although water may be available or may become available at your property, it is important to note that all district customers remain under a boil water notice unless otherwise indicated in our interactive district boundary map. Restoration of the water service is anticipated the week of January 28th. With the system repairs scheduled to be completed, we have transitioned to a new phase of our recovery process involving returning the system to its normal operating pressures, flushing any remaining debris from the system, chlorinating the system, and performing bacteriological testing required by the California Division of Drinking Water. District staff, with input from the State Water Resources Control Board and other mutual aid agencies, are developing a plan now. Implementation of this plan is estimated to begin tomorrow, January 20th, and may take between 5 to 10 days to complete. Upon completion, a cancellation of boil water notice is expected. It's important to note that as service is restored, customers should anticipate periodic high levels of chlorine in their water. Further information will be provided. Areas where the boil water notice has been lifted will not be affected. And lastly, I just want to express our sincere appreciation for all of the support that we've received from all of the mutual aid agencies in helping put our water system back together and getting it into operation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I'd like to introduce Diane Gabriel, District Manager from the Montecito Sanitary District.
Good afternoon. I'm Diane Gabriel, General Manager of the Montecito Sanitary District. We are the wastewater utility serving the Montecito community. On behalf of our Board of Directors and the entire staff, I would like to express our sincere condolences to our customers, friends, and neighbors who have lost loved ones in this tragedy. When the wastewater treatment plant was unharmed in the mudslide event, when SCE power went down, all district facilities auto-transferred to backup diesel generator power and functioned properly. Due to the evacuations in the service area, wastewater flowing to the treatment plant is minimal, but proper treatment has been and continues to take place. We are continuing to assess the condition of the wastewater collection system, which includes 75 miles of pipeline, 2,000 manholes, and 4 wastewater lift stations. District crews, in conjunction with our mutual aid partners, have worked diligently, and we can report that all 4 of our lift stations are intact and functioning. As of this afternoon, we have visually inspected 1,350 of our 2,000 manholes. 1,100 of these manholes are reported to be in good condition. Other manholes were identified as having mud and debris. We are working around the clock removing that material with vacuum trucks and delivering that material to the wastewater treatment plant. We would not be able to perform this skilled, labor-intensive work without the help of our mutual aid partners, the City of Santa Barbara, Public Works, Wastewater Division, Goleta Sanitary District, and Carpinteria Sanitary District. In the areas where several homes were destroyed, we are waiting for debris to be removed to gain access to assess the condition of the pipelines and the condition of the manholes. To date, we have not identified any pipelines that have been severed. There are many locations within the district where wastewater service is currently available and reliable. And we want to assure the community that we will continue to work diligently around the clock to restore reliable wastewater service to the community by the time potable water service is available. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I'd like to introduce Suzanne Grimacy. She's the Public Information Officer for Santa Barbara County Department of Behavioral Wellness. She'll be our last speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Grimacy, and I work with the County of Santa Barbara, Department of Behavioral Wellness. I came here today directly from another event and just another opportunity to share the amazing healing taking place in our community. I came here today from an event planned by the president of Santa Barbara City College, Anthony, alongside the superintendent of the Montecito Unified School District, also named Anthony, that planned together a time to join and bring their families together. It was filled with music and food, and the Army Corps was out playing flag football, and dinosaurs were walking around, and it was such a display of bringing joy to a time that would otherwise be filled with sadness. I also had the opportunity yesterday to go out into the field and to see and to walk around the areas of the mudslide and the debris flow in Montecito. We have spoken so much about our shared healing and recovery. However, yesterday gave me a new reflection. We are balancing, really, really balancing. We are recovering emotionally and physically and rebuilding while we are remaining actively engaged in an incident which is far from over. The balance is not easy. I watched numerous crews cleaning up while remaining vigilant and continuing to look for the missing members of our community. Our animal services, caring with love for sheltered animals while going out into the field to feed animals, sheltering in place in their homes, while at the same time they're receiving in deceased animals brought in from the field. We are all balancing. We know that when we balance, the best strategy is to lean on another person, to link arms, to rest on one another. This is what will continue to help us stay strong and steadfast as a community. And I will encourage you, if you would like to see a little more about our journey out, at least my journey out into the community, if you go to the countyofsb.org Facebook page, you can take a chance to look at several video clips that we took. We are so fortunate to have the resources such as the Army Corps of Engineers in our community to help us and to help balance our efforts. At some point, they will leave, but the community of Santa Barbara will remain here and will remain strong and will be continuing to rebuild, to recover, and heal. Our local Recovery and Assistance Center is open, and boy, is it open. When the doors opened at 11 o'clock today, we had 30 community members waiting outside to come in. It's filled with community, getting information and resources. It's located at Calvary Chapel, 1 North Calle Cesar Chavez. It will be open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 6:30 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., closed Sundays, open through February 3rd. Filled with local, state, and federal resources, childcare is available. I encourage you to come and see how our community is working together. Our information line and resource line remains available, toll-free, at 833-688-5551. We have a long road to go, and we will be balancing all along our journey, leaning on one another and supporting one another. We will continue our recovery process. Santa Barbara truly is a community of strength and resiliency, and we are very, very strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suzanne. We went over a little bit of time here, but we'll take a few questions if we have any out there. Yeah. Question is the 101 still set to open on Monday?
As I mentioned, we've made tremendous progress out there, and we will know more over the next 12 to 24 hours. We haven't set Monday, but we are making great progress, and we need to get the drainage system, we need to get the rails up in the next couple work shifts in order to safely open it to traffic.
Questions? Yes, sir. Is there a time for opening the 192?
In addition to 101, Caltrans does have crews up on 192. We are assessing that. We have contractors up there helping us do preparation for the reopening of that. We do not have a time frame. At the Emergency Operations Center, we are working very closely with all the other agencies, including the Sheriff's Department, so that we can, as they go to their repopulation efforts, we will have 192 available. We do know there has been a few structures that have been damaged by the debris and the boulders that came through, so we need to make sure those can safely pass the public. We have done preliminary investigations of the structural elements, and we'll be coming back to do a little bit more detailed investigations now that some of the debris has been able to be cleared out underneath and we can get to those structures. But I do not have an estimated time.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Questions about repopulating?
Thank you. And obviously that is a key question that many people are asking. But as I indicated, we're being held up at this point by the closure of 101 and the use of Jameson and Coast Village Road primarily. Once those two arteries are freed up again, then we're going to be in a position to be able to look at repopulating certain parts of Montecito. And as I indicated, rather than do the entire community at once, it's probable that we are going to do some incremental repopulation. There are some additional challenges. Caltrans mentioned that we don't really have a date on 192, but there's some very significant challenges in certain parts of 192. There's a bridge that has been condemned. There is another area that has had significant damage. There's another area that is being actively used and blocked because it has to be a significant amount of electrical has to be repaired there. So the other point is that we're working to try to establish truck routes to keep the big trucks out of the core area of Montecito so that we can repopulate that area without having civilian traffic compete for that limited road space with those big trucks, that convoy of big trucks that is going to be doing its work, frankly, for months. So we've identified some of those truck routes. We think we have a good and viable plan. As I indicated earlier, our first move will be to put the business community back in, try to get that central area restored, and then incrementally we will start to get people back. You've heard the 31st as a target date for utilities, and we're obviously going to work with that date in mind. I'm not saying that we will have repopulation, certainly won't have it completed, but our goal is to try to use that as a date upon which we'll at least have some beginning and work towards getting people back as soon as possible.
Any questions? Well, one more question, okay. As far as the 101 opening,
At this time, 101 has been able to accommodate certain of the emergency service vehicles. So when we are talking about opening it within the next several days, that would be for a public opening, yes.
okay, I think that's going to conclude our press conference today. This is not planned, and I'm probably not supposed to do this, but I just wanted to say one last thing. I've been out in the field every single day since this incident took place, and when Chief Stornetta and Sheriff Brown say that the number one priority is finding those 3 missing people, I can't tell you how dedicated all the firefighters and law enforcement, search and rescue, the people that are out there working. I see it in their face. When Sheriff Brown says they don't want to take a break, they don't want to stop, I've never seen anything like it in my life, and when they say it's the number one priority, I have to tell you it is absolutely the number one priority out there right now, and it's to find those 3 young children that are still missing. So thanks for coming today.